Welcome to the Genealogy News from Geneatopia. I'm Patty Roy, also known as Dinah Larkham in Second Life. Today is Sunday, April 23rd, 2017, and this is episode 101. The National Genealogical Society has a new social media policy for its upcoming conference. No audio or video recording devices are going to be allowed in the exhibit hall or in any of the presentations. That means that bloggers cannot do interviews in the exhibit hall, and Lisa Louise Cook cannot live stream presentations using Periscope as she has been doing at the last few big conferences. But you can take photographs in the exhibit hall. The official wording from NGS is that NGS does not permit audio or video recording devices in the exhibit hall or in the presentations at the NGS Family History Conference. This contradicts with the statement from NGS that says, "We encourage participants at the conference to take and share photographs at any time in the exhibit hall." Another contradiction to the policy is this statement from NGS. "Out of the respect for other participants, we ask that noise-making electronic devices be silenced, though they need not be turned off." So it sounds like you can take your audio or video recording device into the exhibit hall and the presentations. This policy could be the result of too many people taking pictures of PowerPoint slides as people are speaking and even recording their presentation. If you are an exhibitor, you can request in advance to record in the exhibit hall and pay a fee. The fee will be mutually agreed to fee to be paid by the exhibitor. The National Genealogical Society will be streaming some sessions from its conference to be held in May in Raleigh, North Carolina. 5 sessions will focus on DNA, and another 5 sessions will be from the Board for Certification of Genealogists, or BCG, their skill-building track. You can sign up for one track or both tracks. Each track costs $95 for members or $115 for non-members. To purchase both tracks cost $150 for members or $185 for non-members. The videos will be available for 3 months for viewing. Registration for the 2017 Federation of Genealogical Societies, or FGS, conference is now open. The conference will be held August 30th through September 2nd in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The theme for the conference is Building Bridges to the Past. Register by July 1st to get the early bird discount. The British Isles Family History Society of Greater Ottawa has released the program for its conference that will be held in Ottawa from September 29th to October 1st. Registration will open on May 1st. Family Tree Maker 2017 is being tested to make sure it will sync with Ancestry correctly and quickly. They are still beta testing. So far, 94% of the beta testers can sync correctly. There are 6,000 beta testers. The next part of the testing will be to let anyone who has pre-purchased Family Tree Maker 2017 to try it out for 48 hours. This will test how fast syncing will be. The first 25,000 to sign up will get the ability to join this test. If all goes well, you will be able to keep using the new version of Family Tree Maker after the 48 hours. Then, if that test went well, another group of 25,000 will test the system. Once the rollout is successful, they should be in a position to determine the release date for Family Tree Maker 2017. A new version of Legacy Family Tree software has been released. This new version is version 9. There is now hinting. Legacy will search the sites Find My Past, Family Search, Genealogy Bank, and MyHeritage for matches that may give you new information about your ancestors. Any matches at Family Search can be viewed for free, but the other sites will require a subscription to see the matching records. There are new cause of death charts and a new xDNA color scheme. You can play Family Tree Bingo using pictures of your ancestors and see your tree at a glance in the family dictionary that lists your ancestors alphabetically. There is a one-click access to your ancestors' Find a Grave memorial. You can back up your Legacy family tree to the Legacy Cloud. The new Stories tool lets you record, organize, and print stories for any of your ancestors. You can create unlimited hashtags to describe your ancestors, and you can use these hashtags to search for or print a report of everyone who shares the hashtag. Do you have ancestors with the same name? The new chronology comparison report puts them side by side and color codes their similarities and differences. Then you can decide if they could be the same person. The color coding system has been expanded and digital pictures can be sorted by date. If you have the Legacy Deluxe, you can upgrade for $26.95. The full version costs $34.95 for download. There are many packages available that include the software on a CD, printed copies of books, and a one-year membership to the Family Tree webinars. The Atlas of Historical County Boundaries is back at the Newberry Library website. It's currently in beta. Before they officially relaunch the new website, they want to make some changes to make the help screens and other supporting documentation better. The site has been offline since July 2015. The website lets you track boundaries as they changed for all 50 of the United States and District of Columbia. The website uses the same underlying data as it did before, but now there are new features. Some of the new features that were listed in the email announcing the new website are: view a base layer map that allows an overlay of boundaries on top of cities, towns, and other geographical features. Zoom in and out of maps for the level of detail desired. Select a date of interest from the drop-down box with all border change dates for that state. View information about border changes in a hover box that will change as users hover over different counties, and expand the map to view full screen. Identifying the correct county for the correct time frame will tell you where you need to go to look for records for your ancestor. You can use the interactive map and select a time frame to see what boundaries were, or you can read about what changes occurred to the county, such as what was added or removed to be part of another county. If you want, you can download the files to be used with ArcGIS Explorer or Google Earth. There's a new app for New York City that can show you how buildings used to look. The app is called Urban Archive, and the app is only available for iPhone, but plans are to have an Android version. The app is in beta testing. Urban Archive is a newly formed nonprofit that is working with the Brooklyn Historical Society, the New York Public Library, and the Museum of the City of New York. So far, they have more than 2,500 historic images in the app, with more than 50,000 that will be added. The reason for the app is to allow museums and libraries to expand their reach for their collections to beyond their walls. As you walk around New York City, you can get push notifications to check out a historic view. You can snap a photo and contribute to the app with a current view for an old photo. About 20 tours have been created based on a particular topic or neighborhood. Now for some new records at Family Search. There are some new index collections for France, Côte d'Amour Census 1876 and 1906, French Hérault Census 1876, 1891 and 1906, and the France Nord Census 1906, and those are new indexed record collections. The following have new indexed records and images, and that would be Peru Diocese of Huchao, Catholic Church Records 1560 to 1952. And these next collections have indexed records that have been added to an existing collection. Argentina, Entre Rios, Catholic Church Records, 1764 to 1983. Brazil, Pernambuco, Civil Registration, 1804 to 2014. California, San Mateo County Records, 1851 to 1991. Cape Verde, Catholic Church Records, 1787 to 1957. Netherlands, Archival Indexes, Miscellaneous Records. Peru, Catholic Church Records, 1603 to 1992. Poland, Raymond Catholic Church Books, 1587 to 1966. And Switzerland, Bern Civil Registration, 1792 to 1876. And those had collections that have indexed records added to an existing collection. The next collection has had index records and images added to an existing collection. I should say collections. Building and Graves Index, New Zealand Archives, New Zealand Probate Records, 1843 to 1998, and Sweden Stockholm City Archives, Index to Church Records, 1546 to 1927. These next collections have added images to an existing collection. Italy, Mantova Civil Registration State Archive, 1496 to 1906. United States Canceled, Relinquished, or Rejected Land Entry Case Files, 1861 to 1932. Find My Past has added some new collections. They've added British Columbia Files, 1859 to 1941, that's browse only. Britain Missing Beneficiaries and Unclaimed Estates, 1910. Norfolk Archdeacon's Transcripts, 1600 to 1812, browse only. Norfolk Bishop's Transcripts, 1687 to 1901, browse only. New South Wales Parish Registers, Christchurch Cathedral, Newcastle. 1881 British census crew and passengers on ships arriving in New South Wales. 2,000 new additions have been added to the Sussex burials. 2,000 additional records have been added to the Sussex monumental inscriptions, and 2,000 records have been added to Australia Boer War contingents. Over 76,000 records have been added to Easter Rising in Ireland under martial law 1916 to 1921, and over 19,000 records have been added to the New South Wales Closer Settlement and Return Soldiers transfer files. 2 new titles have been added to the British newspapers. Those are the Shipping and Mercantile Gazette and the Rutland Echo and Leicestershire Advisor. A German DNA research project has just started, and they are looking for people with 4 German-born grandparents. These 4 grandparents need to have been born within 80 kilometers of each other. The project will include people whose grandparents were born in regions surrounding contemporary Germany, which were part of Germany prior to World War I. The aim of the project is to map the genetic history of Germans. By focusing on people whose grandparents were born near each other, they will be able to build a detailed and accurate regional map of Germany's genetic history prior to World War II. The project is a collaboration between the European ancestry firm Living DNA and a large German genealogy society. To encourage eligible people to participate in the project, Living DNA is offering discounted ancestry DNA tests for £89 or $95. If you've already had your DNA tested and meet the criteria, you can transfer your results to the project for free and receive a complimentary lifetime membership to Living DNA. A woman was using Ancestry to search for ancestors. She came across a shaky leaf for her nephew who died when he was 2 months old. She clicked the leaf and found a man using the nephew's name and birth date. The nephew's name was Nathan Laskowski, and he died in 1972. Nathan's mother was contacted, and she discovered that her son's birth information was used to obtain a Social Security number. The mother filed an identity complaint with the Social Security Administration. The Social Security number started being used in 1996. That was the year when Nathan's mother was called and asked some questions about her deceased son, including what his Social Security number was. At that time, she contacted the police, and they told her it was probably just a scam. John Vincent has been arrested on charges of Social Security fraud and aggravated identity. He is scheduled to be arraigned in Philadelphia's federal court on May 2nd. In 1996, he escaped from a Texas halfway house. He went to a nearby cemetery and searched for someone who had died that was born the same year he was. He found the gravesite for Nathan Laskowski. John Vincent has held many jobs under the name of Nathan Laskowski. He has been married and divorced, obtained a driver's license, opened bank accounts, and secured student and automobile loans under the assumed name. The Social Security fraud charge carries up to 5 years in prison upon conviction, and the aggravated identity theft charge carries a penalty of 2 years in prison consecutive to any sentence imposed for the fraud count. This type of identity theft is called ghosting. Usually obituaries are used as the source for this. In this case, it was a tombstone. Newspapers.com, a subscription website owned by Ancestry, has added 2 new newspapers from Britain, The Guardian and The Observer. There are over 1 million pages from editions between the years 1821 and 2003 that can be now found at the site. Digital NC continues to be very busy putting more North Carolina items online. The latest editions include over 100 issues of the Franklin Times. This newspaper reported on news from Louisburg, which is the seat of Franklin County. The issues are from 1909 to 1911. Nearly 25 years of Future Outlook, a community newspaper from Greensboro, North Carolina, is now available on Digital NC. The Future Outlook served the African American community in Greensboro. Scrapbooks have been digitized from the McDowell County Public Library. The scrapbooks contain newspaper clippings about local churches, doctors, general events from the early to mid-20th century. And added to Digital NC are a collection of Durham funeral programs and obituaries from the R. Kelly Bryant Obituary Collection that is located at the Durham County Library. R. Kelly Bryant collected stories of thousands of African American residents told through funeral programs and obituaries. Digital NC has a new partner, the Margaret and James Harper Jr. Library. This library is located in Southport, Brunswick County. This partner's first contribution to digital NC is the newspaper, The State Port Pilot. This newspaper documents community life in Southport and the surrounding areas from 1935 to 1945. The Library of Congress's Chronicling America website now has available another newspaper from Idaho called the Clearwater Republican. The Clearwater Republican was published from 1912 to 1922 in Orofino, Idaho. Other newspapers being digitized from Idaho that will become available this year are titles published in Meriden, Blackfoot, Mountain Home, Oakley, and Twin Falls. More newspapers have been added to the New York State Historic Newspapers website. 66 years of Chronicle Express issues dating back to 1926, 60 years of Penn Yan Express, 1866 to 1926, and 25 years of Penn Yan Democrat, 1822 to 1947, are now available at the website. These editions increase the years available for these newspapers. More issues of the Chronicle Express from 2012 forward will be added, as well as converting microfilm files of the years 1992 to 2011 into digital format. Patuxent Village is an area in Rhode Island located between Cranston and Warwick. They have a newspaper called The Bridge. The parts of Patuxent Village that are located in Cranston and Warwick are connected by a bridge. The Patuxent Village Association has received $6,300 from the Heritage Harbor Foundation to digitize the newspaper. The newspaper began in 1986. Once digitized, the newspapers will be made available online for free. Washington State University has digitized its student newspaper, the Daily Evergreen, covering the years 1892 to 2016. Classes began at the university in 1892. Plans are to add to the collection once each year. The full run of a previous year will be added each January or February. The U.S. National Library of Medicine has digitized some old recipe books and made them available online. Recipe books started as a place to write down directions for creating medical preparations. The recipes consist of products that were available in kitchens of the day, and they are usually food-based. Many recipe books in the library's collection come from England and Scotland, with a few from Germany and Holland. They are from the 1600s to 1900. The Museum of the American Revolution has opened in Philadelphia. It opened on April 19th, the anniversary of the 1775 battles of Lexington and Concord. There are interactive touchscreens, life-size sculpted figures, and children's exhibits. The galleries in the museum are organized chronologically from the beginning of the conflict starting in the 1760s. Many of the events occurred in Philadelphia. There are 10 theaters throughout the museum that tell the story of the Revolution. One theater, the Battlefield Theater, has gunshots, floor shaking, strobe lights, and smoke to tell the story of being on the front lines of the Continental Army during the British attack. The new museum has on display the tent that George Washington spent time in from mid-1778 to 1783. It's been restored for everyone to see. It's located in a climate-controlled case at the end of a 12-minute presentation about Washington's leadership in the Revolution. The tent and many items in the museum's collection were donated by the Valley Forge Historical Society. An online archive and database will launch this fall containing biographical sketches of some colonial Floridians. The goal is to create sketches of anyone who was in Florida between 1513 and 1821. Those are the years during the Spanish rule. This could amount to 20,000 to 25,000 individuals. Most of these people came to St. Augustine, Florida, which was the capital of Spanish Florida. Many of the names come from the ship's logs, which shows many people arriving from many different countries. Old documents from the 16th century from the United States are used, and other documents are obtained from Spain, where they have an archive that deals with Spain's presence in the Americas. The Colonial Williamsburg Foundation has acquired a collection of early Virginia-related maps. More than 220 maps, charts, atlases, and documents spanning the years from 1540 to 1835 have been added to the collection. These items were collected by William C. Wooldridge of Suffolk, Virginia, and they were owned by the Virginia Cartographical Society, a private Norfolk, Virginia-based consortium. The addition of these items give Colonial Williamsburg the most comprehensive collection of Virginia maps outside of the Library of Congress. The items will be displayed in future exhibits at the Art Museum of Colonial Williamsburg and will be made available this spring through the Foundation's online database at history.org/museums. The maps offer insight into the exploration, settlement, and development in Virginia. Historical maps from all 95 counties in Tennessee are now online. They can be found in the Tennessee Virtual Archive Collection. There are currently about 400 maps available online. There is at least one map available for each county. About 5 to 10 maps will be added per month. Images from Canada that were taken by the New York Times have been purchased by Chris Batty, a GTA or Greater Toronto Area real estate executive, and donated to the Ryerson Image Center in Toronto. The photos are from the 20th century, from the years leading up to the First World War through the 1990s. Some of the images will be on display from September 13th through December 10th. After that, the images will become part of the center's permanent collection, where they can be viewed by appointment. The Library and Archives Canada has released their monthly report about the digitization of the Canadian Expeditionary Force personnel service files. They are finally done digitizing the surnames that begin with the letter M. They are now up to the name NELLS, N-E-L-L-E-S. These service files are for soldiers of the First World War, and they are digitizing the files basically in alphabetical order. They started this project in 2014, and they plan to have the project completed by the end of 2018. At the current rate, the project will be completed in May 2018. That's the same estimate as the last 2 months. The Library and Archives Canada has added some photographs to Flickr. They have added 30 images for Manitoba and 31 images for New Brunswick. Each has their own Flickr album. The Virtual Museum of Canada is managed by the Canadian Museum of History, and it is the largest digital source of stories and experiences shared by Canadian museums and heritage organizations. Its Community Memories program helps smaller communities develop virtual exhibitions for the website that can be found at virtualmuseum.ca. The next online virtual exhibit will be about Cobourg Harbour. The community is a small town in Ontario, and the exhibit was released on April 20th. Stories are told from some members of the community that will relate to the harbor's history in 20 short segments. A virtual reality project is being created to show what life was like in the Nova Scotia Home for Colored Children. 2 of the narrators will talk about their experiences living in the orphanage. They will walk you through the orphanage and tell students about their experiences. This should be a better experience than someone reading to you from a history book and help students develop empathy for another person. The third narrative is someone who works for a support group for former residents. Nova Scotia Home for Colored Children opened in 1921 and was a site of alleged mistreatment and abuse from the 1940s through until early 1980s. The Oculus Rift headset will be used to simulate walks through the orphanage that was located on the eastern outskirts of Halifax. There will be a pilot project to be used by 4 grade 11 classrooms by the fall of 2018. The Halifax Municipal Archives in Nova Scotia has digitized over 4,000 photographs and placed them in a Flickr album for everyone to view. Halifax has undergone many changes to erect new buildings by raising others and demolishing buildings that were not safe. The photographs show homes and businesses before they were torn down in the 1950s and 1960s. Many inspectors assessed building conditions and took photographs of structures that would be demolished. All of these photographs capture everyday life in the 50s and 60s. There will be a new free app for people to take self-guided tours of Alberta. The app will send notifications when you pass some place where something interesting happened. The app and website are being created by the Friends of Historical Northern Alberta Society, and the app will be called History Check. The app will have a map that will show icons that represent 5 different categories: history and museums, other points of interest, camping and lodging, recreation and travel services. You can also search the app so you can find areas to explore. From the app, you can share photos of the sites you visit and chat with friends. The app and a website will be launched in June 2017 with about 5,000 points of interest. A collection of nearly 8,000 images from London, Ontario has been digitized, and they are being made available on HistoryPin. HistoryPin is a website where users can pin photos or videos, audio, and narrative text to a map. So far, 795 of the 8,000 images are available. The images are manually pinned to the map, so it will take some time to get all of them available at History Pin. The images from London, Ontario were captured by the London Free Press photographers in the year 1967. This year marks 50 years after Canada's centennial. Most of the images are black and white since the newspaper used that type for printing. Color film was only used sparingly. The British Library has launched Unlocking Our Sound Heritage, a project to save almost 500,000 rare and unique recordings that are physically degrading or are stored in formats that can no longer be played. These recordings consist of such things as traditional pop and world music, drama and literature readings, oral history, regional radio, dialect, and wildlife sounds from around the country. As a result of the project, the British Library will host a website where listeners can explore the recordings. The website will become available sometime in 2019. There are a couple new podcasts out. One is called Genealogy Showcase. It's a show about how and why we study family history. The other new podcast is called Ohio Genealogy. It's about researching in Ohio and events that are genealogy related that are going on in Ohio. The host for both shows is Jeff Kefling. He has experience as a radio host, and he has a certificate in genealogical research from Boston University. He's a member of many societies and travels to attend most genealogy conferences. Dear Myrtle will be having a 2-part hangout about researching in Norway with Liv Christensen, who is from Norway, and that should happen sometime next month. Now, some other things that are going on. On Tuesday, May 2nd at noon Eastern, there'll be a Family Search webinar called Overview of FamilySearch.org. On Wednesday, May 3rd at noon Eastern, there'll be a Family Search webinar, Spanish Language Records Indexing. On Wednesday, May 3rd at 2 p.m. Eastern, there'll be a Legacy webinar, Take Me Back to Where I Belong, Transportation Records of the Freedmen's Bureau, presented by Angela Walton-Rahi. On Wednesday, May 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern, there'll be a Family Search webinar called Understanding Places in Ireland. And then on that Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, there'll be a Family Search webinar, Ask Your United States Research Question. At 8 p.m. on that Wednesday, the Minnesota Genealogical Society will present What is Social History and Why Should a Genealogist Care?, presented by Annette Burke-Little. On Thursday, May 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern, the Family Search webinar will be Starting Family Tree, Attaching Family Search Sources to Your Tree. On that Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the Family Search webinar will be British Case Study. At 7 p.m., the Ontario Genealogical Society webinar will be Genealogy and GIS, presented by Jennifer Alford. On Friday, May 5th at 3 p.m. Eastern, the Family Search webinar will be United States Case Study. On Friday, May 5th at 10 p.m. Eastern, there'll be a Twitter Gen Chat, and the topic will be Ethnic Focus, Germans from Russia. The Fountaindale Public Library's 7th Annual Genealogy Day will be held on Saturday, May 6th. The library is located in Illinois, and they will be live streaming the sessions, and those sessions are Genetic Genealogy, presented by Robert Skolinski. That'll be at 10:30. At 12:30, it will be Are You Related to Someone Famous?, presented by Bob Allen. And then at 3 will be Where the Murderers Roam, presented by Dr. Daniel Hubbard. On that Saturday also, May 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern, the Southern California Genealogical Society webinar will be Beyond the Surface, Analyzing and Capturing Genealogical Data, presented by Nika Smith. At 3 p.m. on that Saturday, the Family Search webinar will be something in Spanish, translated as Genealogical Resources of Colombia. On Monday, May 8th at noon Eastern, the Family Search webinar will be Using the FHL Catalog Effectively. On Tuesday, May 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern, the Family Search webinar will be Norwegian Immigration, The Experience. On that Tuesday, May 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern, the Family Search webinar will be What is New at FamilySearch.org, and that is at the same time as the Norwegian webinar. On Tuesday, May 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern, the Illinois State Genealogical Society webinar will be Cause of Death Using Coroner's Records for Genealogy, presented by Lisa Alzo. On Wednesday, May 10th at noon Eastern, Family Search webinar will be Italian Language Records Indexing. Also on that Wednesday, May 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern, there'll be a Legacy webinar, Introduction to Danish Genealogy, presented by Fritz Juling. On Thursday, May 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern, the Family Search webinar will be Using Social Media for Family History. On Friday, May 12th at 2 p.m. Eastern, there'll be a Legacy webinar, New York City and State Governmental Vital Records, presented by Jane Wilcox. And then on Friday, May 12th At 10 p.m. Eastern, there'll be a Twitter Gen Chat, and the topic will be ethnic-focused Germans from Russia. You can find all the webinars mentioned and more at the calendar at Geneatopia.com. The calendar has all the Google Hangouts that are scheduled, events going on in Second Life, and online events that you pay for. I've only mentioned the free ones here. And that's it for this episode. You can send email to geneatopia@gmail.com, and you can find links to things mentioned in this show in the show notes at geneatopia.com, as well as a transcript. The transcript can also be found in the Geneatopia Flipboard magazine, and you can find the recording on YouTube. This is episode 101. Thanks for listening.